Jerome Powell is going to speak today, and as you guys know, every time we are hearing Jerome Powell speak, the crypto market is going crazy. And guys, what is very noticeable right now is that the biggest news outlets everywhere on the mainstream media, they talk about a flash crash or a big financial crash, something similar like we have seen in 1929, like a Great Depression. And in today's video, guys, I want to go with you over these news articles and why I think the news is preparing us to make certain mistakes. Guys, let's jump straight into it. Stock market crash of 1929 that triggered the Great Depression, posted 28th of October. Telegraph, how to protect your money from a market crash. Stock market is doing something observed just 3 times since 1871. And of course, this is the third most expensive S&P 500 in history. And I definitely understand where all these people are so worried about, because yes, the S&P 500 is going to collapse sooner or later, but I just find it very coincidental that there is kind of like a targeted attack right now going on, and we know that every time the news is talking about a similar narrative, similar with Bitcoin, when all the news articles are talking about how Bitcoin is going to, go to these crazy levels, we often see that Bitcoin is just going to correct. So normally, guys, you have to do the opposite of the news. This is what's really, really important. Then I want to bring quickly you guys to this macro cycle. This is the banner cycle, and this basically shows in which years the price goes up and which years the price goes down, generally for the stock market. And of course, that's important for crypto as well, because confidence in the stock markets means more confidence in other asset classes, risk on asset classes as well, like crypto. And this chart says till 2026, we're still going up. And then till 2032, we are going down. So you gotta probably don't pinpoint this on the exact month or date or whatsoever, but you got to take it as a as a general rhythm that the market is repeating, and it still says it has room to go up, which is pretty interesting. Then guys, I want to bring your attention to the fact that if we look at the Bitcoin quarterly returns, quarter 4, which we have entered right now, is generally the best quarter by far in the history of Bitcoin, right? So this is already pretty good. We have the news being extremely bearish, saying that everything is overpriced. Drop it up, thumbs up, guys. And we're entering one of the most bullish periods of Bitcoin. And guys, this is quarter 4, which generally is the most bullish time. But it is even more bullish if you look at the time of the 4-year cycle. So you can compare this year with 2020 or 21. Quarter 4 2020, actually that's a better comparison, because that's going into 2021 when we were seeing Bitcoin peaking 168%. 2017 is another last year of a bull market, that was 215%. 2013 was also that year of the bull market with these crazy returns. So we are not only in quarter 4, but we are in year 3 of the bull market in quarter 4, which is, of all the quarter 4s, most of the time the most bullish quarter 4. So guys, the thing is, what I feel in the markets right now, and most likely you feel that too, this uncertainty, this panic. And that is also because all of these news articles, like how to protect your money from a market crash, these are all going around probably to just make you scared, because what I personally believe is that right now we are right in front of a massive blow-off top season, also for the stock markets, right? Maybe the stock markets is going to pull off something crazy while it's just going to go up for quite a while. Things can stay irrational way longer, but one thing that I do know is that most of the time when the news talks about something, it often is not going to happen. And that's the same thing when Bitcoin was trading back at 3,000 or at 15,000 during the bear markets. You will see news articles that crypto, just like everyone lost interest in crypto, that's going to zero, that it's not sustainable anymore, that it's dead. The amount of articles that call Bitcoin dead is absolutely crazy, but they never call Bitcoin dead in Q4 of the third year of the 4-year cycle. Why? Because the news adjusts to what's happening in the markets. So right now the news is reflecting probably, and maybe even trying to manipulate, like emphasizing the feeling of uncertainty in the markets, right? But with that feeling of uncertainty and people reading articles like how to protect your money from a crash, which basically is either go into gold or keep in fiat, have money. There's a lot of money on the sidelines probably to go in. Maybe there's some changes going to come as well. I'm not saying this as a certainty as well, guys, but I'm just saying that we have to look through the emotional state of the markets. We have to be able to look through it and to be as objective as possible. And if you would ask me, like a couple of years ago, about Q4 2025, then I would say it will be the most bullish time of the bull market, right? And right now it doesn't feel like it because we are not yet seeing it happening right in front of our eyes, although there can definitely some arguments to be made for that, and I'm going to share that as well. I want to share with you the Fear and Greed Index as well. Right now it's neutral. That's pretty positive with all the news going around, but you can see last week it was pretty fearful, right? Last month it was fear. You can see we have been at some lower levels. Let me show you how that looks over on willporter.com, because here we also have the Fear and Greed Index. You can use these charts actually, by the way, for free if you create an account. But what we can see right here is that the sentiment is following the price, right? It's going, when the price goes up, sentiment increases. When price goes down, sentiment decreases. But the last time we were at these lower levels, Bitcoin actually took off from, what was it, almost $80,000, slightly below even 80,000, all the way up to $125,000. Guys, that's almost a $50,000 move when the sentiment was pretty low. The previous time the sentiment was low, we also had a massive rally from 55k all the way up to 105k. This was again a 50k move in the price of Bitcoin. Pretty insane. Right now the sentiment is again at these lower levels, and it doesn't mean that right now directly we need to pop off. We are going to pop off, although we're in Q4, November is coming, December is coming, so we might see a nice build up to these levels. But generally speaking, when you see this, just looking at this indicator, the direction most likely is up. Also, when we have a look at the buying and selling pressure heat maps, we had some increased selling pressure, as you can see, but we don't have that right now. There's not a lot of increased selling pressure, high intensity red right here on the daily time frame from a macro perspective. Also showing that it's not the exact same picture as we have here. This was, of course, a very perfect picture, very low selling pressure, buying pressure even stepping in. That was a pretty perfect picture. Right here we also had a very beautiful picture. Right now it's not that beautiful as here, but still the data points to upside potential. It doesn't point to downside potential. Then quickly go to the Bitcoin chart, guys, and yeah, what we can see right here is that if we just look at Bitcoin from this perspective, right, and you see the uncertainty in the markets, you see many people are talking about Bitcoin has already topped for this cycle. I think many people are missing the boat in that sense, because I think many people have still the feeling of this period in their mind with how a bull market top should look like, right? And I believe we have to see a kind of blow of top formation. Why? Because we had a massive collapse during the bear market. How can you have a massive collapse and not a massive blow of top? Similar right here, massive collapse, massive blow of top. Look at this rally. This is an elastic. It gets pulled to the downside, bam, it's released, it gets pulled to the upside, right? There has to be an opposite action to everything that's happening. Here also, massive crash, double crash, bam, blow off top, crash, blow off top, crash, blow off top. Like if it would be a nice rounding bottom, something like that, I would say it might be slightly different. But this was a very crazy period right here. We had even one of the biggest exchanges completely going insolvent. And when we have a look at the structure of Bitcoin, that's actually what I wanted to point to, guys, is we have uptrend, consolidation, uptrend, small consolidation, uptrend, consolidation slash correction, uptrend, correction, uptrend, and right now we are holding above that previous high. So that previous high from a simple structure right now is still holding as support. So technically in a macro weekly time frame, we are very clearly still in an uptrend. Of course, you are going to get more excited once we break the all-time highs again. That's the moment you will get more excited. But from a technical standpoint, guys, we are still in an uptrend. And if you look at that technical standpoint, that we are still in an uptrend, and if you then objectively combine the technical uptrend with the sentiment, many influences, and I'm not like, they can be right, okay? I can be the one that's wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just trying to make an objective observation right here that goes against my own emotional state, and I gotta be honest. But we have a technical uptrend, many influencers who calling for a top. We do have negative sentiment, which previous times has always proceeded with upwards price action. So everything of this combined, guys, is just looking pretty bullish. And if I bring out the drawings that I had right here, these are Fibonacci extensions, and the previous time we had a Fibonacci extension till the 1.6, like basically the golden ratio extension. Exactly, we had there the bull market top at 63,000. The next golden ratio extension would be, of course, measured from this top till this low. That's again a law of nature, right? If that low would be lower, the high would be higher. That's the whole point of it, right? But the low is right here. That would bring, but I'll take the horizontal line right here. That would bring the target roughly at 154,000 US dollars. And I'm going to be a little bit realistic right here, that maybe we do not get that stretched part of it, but I think there's still a lot of room to grow right here. So yeah, guys, this is my analysis, and of course this will be very bullish for altcoins as well, because once Bitcoin goes into that, I'm going to explain how that actually works, because once Bitcoin goes into that final phase, blow off top phase, it will bring a lot of attention to Bitcoin. Then it will bring that message to many retail, to many investment firms, to many, the emotional state of the market participants. They will start to shift their emotional state back to a bullish state, which means they're going to invest, the price will go up, and then the confidence is coming back, and then people are going to look into altcoins because there are bigger returns possible on altcoins. Altcoins will go up. Then people from Bitcoin are seeing that. They are selling Bitcoin, flowing it into altcoins. We get this capital rotation. I actually think, guys, that this bull market is going to be probably one of the most easy. I don't want to say easy because it hasn't been easy, but the most clearest bull markets in hindsight, which is just following the exact same path as in 2017. I think we're going to see this. There's so many characteristics. Only time is a little bit different, but the time here was also different. Maybe there's also maybe these cycles could extend a little bit. I'm not really sure about that, but what I am sure about is that we are seeing an uptrend, we are seeing negative sentiment, and normally, guys, that is a very good sign, because if right now everyone would be extremely bullish and extremely expecting crazy levels, which I do not believe is the case, but if that's the case, let me know down below in the comments. Maybe that I'm not observing very objective, because my perspective is also, of course, clouded with my emotional state and the current market emotional state. But as far as I can observe right now, when I'm looking at the news, a lot of them talking about market crash. When I'm looking on at Twitter, when I'm looking on YouTube, many people are talking about this was the top, altcoin season will not happen again. That's actually the exact thing that you want to hear. The sentiment is just completely crushed. While factually the uptrend is still intact on a weekly time frame. I mean, the setup looks stronger than ever for a blow off top move, right? And it's not only the setup on Bitcoin, it's the setup on Solana, it's the setup on Monero, it's the setup on Dash, it's the setup on many other altcoins as well, and that's always the point, guys. What if you right now fall asleep today and wake up in 2 months, right? If you right now fall asleep and you wake up in 2 months, would you be shocked if prices would be way higher than it is right now? Well, I actually would not be shocked. And that's always a good question to ask. And this is something that I learned in my historical journey of investing and trading as well. We always try to rationalize things. We always try to explain things from a mental perspective, right? So you try to rationalize certain things, but sometimes you cannot rationalize it. So you cannot find that story or that narrative because, things can happen things can change in an instant. They can really change very, very quickly. So we got to see what Powell is going to say. That's going to be probably a big impact on the markets, at least in the short-term time frame. But often I think as well, before these big announcements and everything, you got to have a little bit your bias of direction. And my bias of direction right now, it's clearly to the upside. Because of the sentiment and the uptrend structure that we are seeing right here in the markets. And of course, not to forget the Q4 that we are in right now. And not the normal Q4, but the special Q4 that generally is the best Q4 of all Q4s. So combining all these things, guys, I actually get very, very bullish. But maybe I'm that delusional bull right now. Maybe Powell is going to screw up saying something wrong. I'm not sure about that, but what I do know is you got to pick a bias. My bias is clearly to the upside. I think I'm in the minority of people expecting upside. I believe that, but I can be wrong on that. Maybe many people are bullish. I don't see them. I see many influencers that I look up to that are actually also calling for a Bitcoin top, which make me even doubt because I've seen them being right many times in the past, right? So I'm not going to call any names because I have like utmost respect for all the other content creators, 100%. But in this specific case, I'm going to stick with the structure and I'm going to forget about my own emotional state and the market emotional state, because even though I feel a little bit fearful, I know it is not only me. I can see it here in the data. Everyone is fearful. So it's better for me, looking at historical times, it's better for me to go against that fear and to double down on my bets, something like that, rather than right now panic and start to sell. So yeah, guys, that was my, I hope, positive message of today's video. And let's hope Powell is going to say some positive things. But maybe it doesn't even matter what he's going to say because time and the rhythm of the markets are all in place. Like, this is what William Delbert again says. This is the effect. This is the cause. But this is also the effect of this cause. And this is also the effect of that cause. So the top that is going to happen, guys, it's in Bitcoin. It is already programmed in our reality. You cannot change that. It was already programmed during this bottoming phase right here. During this bottom phase, the top was already programmed. And the proof of that is in William Delbert again, how he could predict exact market tops on the exact couple of days accurate. So he was very accurate because he understood, and I'm not claiming to understand it, but he understood and proved that the cause of something is way before the effect take place, and market moves in extremes. So this is the cause of the next effect, which will be the top. So the top is already programmed, so maybe it doesn't even matter what Powell is going to say. We are all so fixated on these monetary policies, while in hindsight, the market is moving in a rhythmical fashion, and of course we are seeing comparisons and correlations between these things. But maybe Powell is going to move with the cycles we are seeing in the markets, with him knowing or not knowing it. I don't know. But like I said, based on the data that I'm seeing right now, I'm very positive. I'm believing Bitcoin is going to rally, Q4 bullish, and I think that those profits will flow into altcoins. And I think many altcoins are setting up for really good things. But of course, altcoins carry more risk. I know all of these things, but for now, I'm willing to bet on it. And let's see how this is going to play out. Guys, drop a thumbs up if you agree with me. Drop a thumbs down if you do not agree with me, but at least explain down below in the comment section, and ignore those bots, because the channel is full of bots all the time. I'm trying to delete all of these comments. It's just never-ending work, so to say, but I will try to do my best to try to get rid of them. Sometimes I'm blocking certain words that they are using as well on the channel, but it's kind of like a whole job next to making videos, just to make sure that the comment section is clean. So I just want to ask you, if you see a bot comment, please report it. If you don't want to report it, please ignore it. Don't get annoyed by it, okay? Just ignore it. You guys are smart enough. You guys know exactly when you see a comment, whether it's made by a real human being or whether this is a scammer talking about a shit token or whatsoever. Please ignore these comments. And that's very much appreciated, guys. This is a one-man channel, so I don't have like all these moderators and stuff to do these type of things, and this is also not the fun part of the job, right? So I'm not in the mood too busy with that all the time, although I am trying to get rid of them. It's just such a difficult thing. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Of course, if you like to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, or all the other tokens that we're talking about, definitely for spot holdings, Phoenix can be a very good exchange. The reason why is because they make a specific adjustments to people who join with the link down below. As for example, you don't need any verification when you've joined with the link down below, and you can get actually a deposit bonus up to $30,000 US, similar as to Bybit. Bybit has that also, but Bybit does require you to have KYC. So definitely check out Phoenix if you're interested in that. And yeah, guys, wish you a beautiful day, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.